was just 5 years ago when the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife set out to remove as many Asian carp as possible from Kentucky and Barkley Lakes. A one-of-a-kind tournament.
And this is the first ever commercial fishing tournament anywhere for anything.
83,000 pounds, over 41 tons of Asian carp were removed from Kentucky waters by 15 commercial fishermen over the span of 2 days.
Some people had an idea that they're in there. When you see a boat full, that really stuck with a lot of people and realized, wow, there's a lot more fish in here than I realized.
It was a good start, but the threat these fish impose is still there and growing day by day.
Through flooding and escapement through other routes, they have worked their way all the way up to Kentucky, all the way up through Illinois. Everybody's worried about these fish. They're moving quickly.
Kentucky remains at the forefront of the fight against these invasive fish. So 2018 brings another effort to extract as many Asian carp as possible. It's time for Carp Madness 2. Here we are for Carp Madness 2.
Right.
This is a lot different than our last Carp Madness event, isn't it?
Right. This one here is a bow fishing tournament, or our last one was a commercial fishing tournament.
Bow fishing, per boat, we may not get as many fish, but you don't have to be a commercial fisherman to get into this. We got a lot more registrants, right?
Right. A lot of people bow fish for a hobby. If you see some of the rigs out here, a lot of money in these rigs.
Yeah.
So we've got people coming down from all over the place to do this. Bow fishing is pretty big, actually.
We come down here about 2 or 3 times a year. We try to. We have a good time, so we try to come down here and get the big fish.
You can shoot fish with any bow out there. It doesn't matter. A lot of guys use old hunting bows. Some people go out and buy $800 bows just to shoot fish. It doesn't matter. You can use them all.
So to put an event on like this today, tell me a little bit about who all's involved to do this.
You know, the first one we had, the League of Kentucky Sportsmen gave us, I think, $5,000 towards the sponsorship. This time, we actually reached out to Tennessee. The TWRA provided $7,500.
I happened to be talking to Ron about carp as usual, and he said, yeah, we're doing this. I said, well, why are we just doing it in Tennessee or Kentucky? Let's get Tennessee involved. And so we added some sponsorship, and we got some people out here helping too.
Our department put $15,000 in it. The Fish and Wildlife Foundation is pretty much sponsored. They're handling the money. And the BAA, Bowfishing Association of America. So it's a real partnership in putting this all together. Well, I want to welcome all you folks at Kentucky.
So we're getting really close to boat launch. Tell me the process on what time they go and how long does this event last?
There's 2 divisions. There's a river division and a lake division. And they will, in order of registration, leave here and go to whatever boat ramps they're going to launch at. They'll fish from 7 o'clock at night and they'll weigh in at 7 in the morning.
This is my friend's boat. It's a 2084, huge, comes in handy, especially these tournaments where you shoot unlimited amount of number. You're going to have over 1,000 pounds of fish to win it, so you need a pretty big boat.
And that's the good thing about this event. This is all about total pounds, just
Right.
absolute, as many as you can get out of the water. We don't care if the fish is this big or long as you and I, we want them out of the water.
We want to fill that semi-truck back behind me.
That's exactly right.
We only want the Asian carp coming back in here because that's what they're taking, okay? If you shoot anything else, we don't want it to come in.
This is my first big tournament anyway, so I'd just like for us to get on the fish, and you know, we're here to have a good time. So if we have fun doing what we do, and to see all these nice boats out here and some of these bigger teams, to see the amount of fish taken at the end of the night, that'll be fun to see.
This isn't about the tournament, it's about us trying to remove as many fish as we can, okay? We can literally remember back in the day when you would go below the dams and there'd be 1 or 2 boats and you would hardly ever see a silver carp. You hardly would ever see a silver carp on the lakes at all.
What we got to do is get more fish out of the water by getting more fishermen here. And the only way to do that is to let everybody know that we got this problem and it's gotten to the place it has now, which is very kind of dire. And so it's time to pull all stops out.
Shortly after the launch of Carp Madness 2, Mother Nature decided to put on her own show, forcing most competitors to find shelter for nearly 2 hours. But after the skies cleared, 81 bow fishing teams get back to the business of shooting Asian carp. Tell me a little bit about Asian carp here in Kentucky.
Okay, so Asian carp, and especially in these two reservoirs, have taken off big time even since I've been here since 2009. What we had feared all along has finally happened in that the population has just exploded.
Just in the last 3 years, the Asian carp have become such a huge problem. They're starting to hit not just the people who fish on these lakes, but anybody here recreationally.
Carp are feeding at the bottom of the food chain, and they're taking all that, have the potential to take all that biomass out of the system. In great numbers, they can do a lot of damage to this ecosystem, and that includes all the sport fish, all the other fish that we care about.
Oh, dude, they're at 18 feet right now. Look at them. Dude, there are so many fish down there.
They're everywhere, but they're more concentrated on the tailwaters because it's not as large a body of water.
Don't get it crazy up in the corner because they're gonna jump like crazy.
They're really big on the current, of course, so right against the dam is the best place to find them. You can find them downstream, but we've always found just more numbers against the dams.
Oh, I got mine.
It's really affecting the grass carp, buffalo. I know they're really affecting the paddlefish as far as like the zooplankton they eat and whatnot.
Dude, mine's running like a son of a gun.
But the bottom line is we're just not getting enough harvest. So what this does is kind of like Carp Madness 1 is it reminds the public that we have an issue here. It reminds the public that there's a lot of people interested in helping with this issue.
"12 hours after taking off from Kentucky Dam Village, the boats are now back, lined up, ready to offload the hard-earned fruits of their labor. Some shot few fish, and others have several tubs full. But there is a consistent theme among the competitors.
How you doing?
Good, you?
How'd you guys do last night?
Not too good.
Not too good? It's a couple 100 pounds? Maybe?
Maybe.
Maybe, okay. Tough night?
A little slow.
A little slow. What are you in the river or the lake?
River.
River. How'd you guys do? Any good?
Yeah, we killed some. Quite a complete waste of the night.
Well,
there's always something that comes up, you know, something unforeseen that you'll run into that doesn't let you let things go the way that you planned a lot of times.
The storm played havoc on this competition, especially for those on the rivers. The water turned cloudy, making it hard to see fish much of the night. But halfway through the weigh-in, a hefty 585 pounds was on top of the river's division.
We have a lot of small silvers.
oh, okay.
4 or 5 pounds, so
Okay, well,
we'll see if a lot of them add up.
well, that's true. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
But Team Descalin had yet to weigh in.
I need 47 more.
First place?
Y'all are in first. I needed you to break 1,000. Come on, guys. I need 14 more pounds. 1007.
Good job, guys.
Before the night started, did you guys as a team kind of come together and say, this is how many pounds it's going to take to win this?
We had an idea in our head. There's a lot of teams. There's a lot of good teams. There's 80 teams total, I believe, in this tournament. And there's teams from all over the United States.
Oh, yeah.
And then they come in early, they did their scouting, and they did their homework. So we knew we had to be on our game, had to do some good shooting.
With just a few boats left to weigh in, Team PMA leads the Lakes Division. But they knew that there was at least one team with a chance to knock them off. Well, how'd you guys do?
I guess for the conditions, pretty decent,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we weren't thinking it was great.
Yeah.
First.
About 1,000 pounds is leading it right now.
We'd probably be close.
I'd say it'd be right around there.
Okay.
What do you guess? Let's guess right now. What do you think it's going to be?
Give them
850. I say it'll be around 1,000.
They're going to slow down fast for you guys to stay in the lead. This is going to be really, 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 really close.
Just those two?
No, 2 more after this.
Guys, I hate to say it, but you're out. 11:04.
Wow! Talking about one miss or 2 misses. That is so close. It was 11 pounds.
This one was one that the stars kind of aligned on. Once I seen them other guys weigh in, I knew it was going to be real close.
Yeah.
With it being 11 pounds difference, that's a nail biter.
That is a nail biter.
That's a nail biter. Usually it comes down to, you know, one fish. That one fish could have made us or break us.
Over 20,000 pounds of Asian carp were shot out of the waters of Kentucky and Barkley Lakes and their tailwaters.
Clearly see, you know, how the Asian carp have really started to take over, how invasive they actually are. So it was good to bring a lot of publicity to the media and to show a lot of the community, you know, how much they're taking over.
It is a drop in the bucket of what's still out there, meaning that the future of bass, bluegill, crappie, and other native species is still at stake. The battle against Asian carp rages on.